How HIV positive youths and teens handle the disease. HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, is a virus that attacks the immune system and weakens the body's ability to fight infections. If left untreated, HIV can eventually lead to AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. In this documentary, we will gain insights from our dedicated healthcare professional who work very hard to support and guide these individuals through their HIV journey. And we will also hear the personal stories of remarkable young men living with HIV in Lesotho. They will share their experiences of discovery, the emotions they struggled with upon receiving their HIV diagnosis, and the unique challenges they faced as they embarked upon their journey of acceptance.
Lebitso la ka ke Mama Monica Mofesima Khozone. Ke mofani wa ditshebeletso tsa bophelo Health Direct Clinic. Ke boetse ke setsebi ditabeng tsa bophelo bo botle ba setjhaba, public health. There are a lot of mental health challenges that youth face when it comes to HIV and AIDS. By virtue of youth having to go through the same gate with an adult, a neighbor, whoever, they sometimes become uncomfortable. And given the nature of our community personnel, once they see you at the clinic, it will take few minutes. The whole community might know you are at the clinic. I think we need a place where a youth can walk in and they can be consulted, and we know it's a youth-friendly service where we know adults are not allowed to access such a service unless a person who is going there is a minor and they need support from the parents. Secondly, as much as nurses and doctors who are placed in adolescent corners are trained to work with youth, because like I said, they are vulnerable, so they need a person who is a little bit friendly, somebody who is not very mature. Also, if you have a very old nurse in there, they will never go. So they need somebody who is younger and who is vibey. So those are some of the challenges that in some adolescent corners we have very mature nurses, and some youths they don't prefer to be seen by people who are adults.
Even though Motono South Sea sounds to the Munyano and on Sonella DPC in, on what's a fellow, can I quit? I make a material to do on the police level, no the papa, on the track, I let her do, I live some can make a cat to do on the police. Any experiences in Tataka or Hona, or when Nigisimon Apila and Nakapo, Kisimon and the PDC that so Labo Bebo, the adapt. Let me look at our Tachaganya negative low, how to hold him back. I want to go very low and take up on the Bachabang, and the Wapla Leonava, if Mana supported the solid.
Now, it's about nativity to Candy Walk in the 15. But it's like the Calica true. Not also get the true fight. I get out of the yellow hole. Then I get out the yellow hole. Got true 7 jacket has the procedure. I carry it up and true get even in Huamun Gandhi next to the Kilel. But young I can over the Kilel 2011. We are working the 12. We get into the video not like a big exam. And Tokumaka and Chela straight Nanza. That's why it is in 2015 come out, Kitamase. Low Sukanana, when I have a lead Jarakal, Milona get one meeting, how did they feel? because I get a primary. I like a national. I get it now, I get a broma. In my life, you have another high, and another high one hour like, oh, yeah, but you know, not this day. But niggas, I delay, cover a log and naga. I say, so that's why taking Nani Kalawa and the Kawana, Kishamona, Kirena, Lava, Chavaperandi, or Nabu, Hello, and Nanny Lona Kalang, Kurakawana, HIV, go, it's linked now. Ilona will take a bat or now, how to take it. But Lona Gina, I cannot say yes again. I have an new 27 Mutuka or Molibu 7. Most is the trouble because I do a trunk about but we are going by Kaka. But living to equal Nelo. HIV interesting. Meaning, yes, Okasali on every say you come a long time. But Nini will carry what if with money would say Maria Mamma, all the one outside of my house. So, all in all, I think to at Lamogana, how Nali HIV you couldn't know about how now with mankind. Because once so bad of find out now with mankind. Uto fagaka uto kete tubi yidnali anakina na hawa ni ninkin na hisoka fo kinna wa fela na lio hasenga watu na ke saidi jwan lio na baba mamba sasa lio uto fagaka ni linkila kaizara kete zikisani bisi kwa uyu mu kete ni until now
Firstly, when you educate the youth, it's not like they are clueless. When you meet your youth for the first time, you're not the first person talking to them about HIV. In all spheres in our country, because of highest prevalence of HIV, anybody, anywhere, they are taught about HIV. It's very critical as a provider. Understand what the person understands about HIV first. That will help you identify the gaps in terms of knowledge, and it will be easy for you to address those gaps such that whatever information they have as myths and misconceptions, you are able to correct. So as much as the information, we have the protocol on how to do your counseling or how to do your education, but at the end of the day, the education needs to be individualized because what people understand differs. So you start like that, and then from there, once you know the gaps, you teach the person about the gaps. And like I said, the way you will communicate to the youth, it should be in a way that they can understand. That is, you can't be using strong medical terms, and at the end of the day, the youth was listening to you, and when you ask them what have I said, they don't even know what you have said. So it's very important that the information that you're giving also, it should be in the language that the youth can understand. So issues of adherence also, people adhere because they understand why they are taking their medications. That is very critical, and what those medications are doing to their body, because there is tendency of sometimes we will be saying you need to take your medications. The answer is why. So the youth is naive. So if you don't give them full information, you don't answer the why part, they may struggle in terms of taking their medications. So it's very critical to answer the why question, the what, and the how part of it. And once they understand the how, the what, and the why, they are taking their medications. And the result of either them adhering to the medications and not adhering, what could be the potential consequences that can come into play. That will be very helpful. And also, in terms of adherence, you need to also teach them the challenges, because we have been here in the system before. It's not like you're going to experience the challenges in terms of medications the first time in your life. It doesn't happen like that. Other youths has been diagnosed before, so we already know the challenges that goes around youth medications. So you can warn them in advance. Maybe when you're taking medications, you can have medicines fatigue, because when you take medications every day, you tend to get tired sometimes. So you let them know that these things do happen, and when they happen to you, you can always reach out so that we can see what is it that we can do in terms of support.
So the women are going to go inside the soon mmele wa hae o tla di tlwaela ebe o ba normale o tla ba sharp.
Just because we say the area we can so sort of how cloud in that so sort of I can know how to finish the and the area we will have a ban. In the general HIV when I can not after I don't know when I can I just out with that. No, if all of this is together, and you had this character at India. Now, going to Kahola for you and take it at you one year how we are so. You must have gone to Langan. How to suppose it to be your hotel and what is and have a bit of a capital. Imagine I cannot I took up an alone Leon, Ariman, who can have unprotected.
I've seen youth accepting their status and also helping others to go through the challenges, because Mosoto always say I can say all the good things, or I can say everything, but if you have personal experience regarding the illness, those people help us to help others who are newly diagnosed. It's okay to be HIV positive. There's no shame in terms of this illness. When you're taking your medications, when somebody look at you, you'll be normal. Having a youth personnel standing right there telling everybody to say, I'm HIV positive and it's okay to be HIV positive, that's a success to me, because even adults, they can't. There are people who can't disclose their status to the world. Youth discriminate one another. I don't know whether it's because us as parents also we have issues or what. So we need to strengthen our education in terms of HIV, and we must really make sure that the youth have access to accurate information, because out there everybody can say anything anytime. So if we are not aggressive enough as well to make sure that the information is available to our teenagers, to our youth, I think we are heading for a disaster. Discrimination, yes, we are doing a lot of work around that, but we are not yet there. Education is the only way. People must understand, and also you must know that if you are not infected, you are affected one way or the other because of the prevalence of HIV. If you are not infected today, you are affected somehow. So we need to continuously educate our youth and the general public about HIV.
Ditaba tsa bo di-social critics ha di etsa ka jwalo ka ha o na le moho mong hore it starts with you, e le gore ntho nngwe le nngwe e qala ka wena. Once wena o ikamoela the way o leng ka teng gore na mang ka ntle o tla reng ka wena, hai e ka se o sisinye hohang. So jwalo ka ntho eno re e qala ka wena le ho self o tlametse o itjwetse hore if ke ya ka ntle ke ya setjhabeng ke lo bua gore na mang o tla re. Batho ba bang ba bua ba le clueless ba sena information hohang, ba tseba fela ho ka ba criticize, and motho a ba lo tlo mo tsheya e be kona o mo beang hantle o mo ruta ka HIV hantle, because batho ba bantse ba sena information hohang, but ba eketeka ka ba tseba. Jwalo ka ke tshile ke re ka ha ke holetse ka ga ke hotse le motho ana sa ntse a comfort-a haholo ka bontsha tsa bo AIDS bo lepega bo eng bo. So ntse tse ka reng tsenana e la ba sa fela go nna gore ke adapte jwalo ka ke tshile. But yeah, the challenge ntse di le teng, the social media and stuff.
And Bonan by their account AIDS, and they were saying, when Pula Mosina Sakaro to Pila. The measure of God. So can I now soon do this? I know who show you know, so they come to Tapolium, and the Javaya High School, come up in 19, come out, used to say, in big high school. everyone at high school man se wa ka le bitso la HIV because bana ba nka ba le ba nka from social media ba isa school. So but ka lebaka la hore ne se ke itse e ka ngafecta surprisingly kore ka mora bo 6 months people who were criticizing me ba bang ba bona ba tla hona ba kopa thuso ba bang ba tla hona say how did you manage this na ke a thaba and someone na ka o tseya ka ntlo le yena le yo someone na ka o tseya ka ntlo le yena ha tsebe ka yona ilo re ka le le ke lo wena ba nna ke se lo ka o tla sa mo yo ke mo le mo itara ka wena.
The strategies, it's important to educate the youth. They must have a platform to communicate freely without being judged, because that one is very important. You must not listen. You must listen to understand. You must not listen to judge. And our youth are able to detect when you listen to judge. But when you listen to understand and then guide, it's different. So we need to have that type of strategy, to have openness. They must know that when we ask questions, it's not meant to judge them. It's meant for us to plan care, and they must not tell us what we want to hear. That is also important, because sometimes when I ask you a question, you will think of what I want to hear. And that is wrong, because your plan of care is going to be wrong altogether. And it will depend on the approach that I had when it comes to how I approached the whole situation. If you're nice and you're non-judgmentally, and we are trained in terms of how do we communicate in such a way that is effective. So that approach it's very important.
Ya pele ko re le batho ba batjha re ignorant re rata ipopanyetsa ntho information tse ga affectang haholo, because di campaign di teng di a tshwara di teng di a tshwara mara o ka sheba batjha ba ya mo le rena batjha re bangata ka ba bang ba ela mono fela hore e bang hona ntse tse fanwang ka di fumane, not exactly hore ba paid attention to the details tsa ntse tse mo. So re na le iphapanyetsa reality hore se yana ntho ne teng re phela le yona, ene nke ka ba ka supa motho ana le yona ho feta mono se ke tlo utlwa ka nna hore no e se le teng ho nna. So re iphapanyetsa yona la ka ba teng di World AIDS Day ho etswa meho ya le mo tse ngata bo le mo sena let communities lead ho etswa eng meho e mengata fela ho etswa di mekgatlo ya batjha ntse sa thusi, because ha re batle ho ithuta rona self, because nke ka force motho ena ho fumana information even a sa batle ke yena tlametseng a etse effort hore a batle information ka ntho ena ya affectang batho. So ha fela yena a sa batle ai ho tshwana le ona ba la o ka sheba ditshwaetso tse ntjha di batjheng hore na hobaneng ke bona ha re tsotelle.
It's illegal for me to have sex with you. Say protect out get off manore. I'm HIV positive. Because they say it's a plow. How can you have sex with me?
We have different ways of disclosure. We have a level whereby one says, give me my space, I will do it myself. Because disclosure is very important in terms of this illness. You must take your medications. So if you have not disclosed, there are some days you will go without medications because somebody was there, and so you were not able to take your medications. So disclosure is very important. However, it must be done well. Firstly, the teenager themselves or the youth, they must be comfortable with their status first. Because like I said, we have not got rid of stigma and discrimination. They must be ready in case somebody who knows their status, they retaliate. They should find him or her standing. It doesn't matter what other person says, because you can share your status with somebody and somebody decides to tell the rest of the village. The person whom you tell, it's your decision. So that says the person whom will call into care, who will support you, is based on your perception, or is based on your preference. Who is that person you think must be part of your support, and we will guide you in terms of we thought this choice. These are the consequences of you choosing this other person. Are you ready to face those consequences? Somebody would say, yeah, I don't have an issue. So the disclosure is driven, one, by who do you want to tell and whether you want to do it yourself or not. So when it's facilitated by us, it's kind of easier, because we are trained professionals. Therefore, we can be able to address the issues that somebody might have regarding HIV. But when people are together, sometimes it might cause issues for somebody, because one, you are related. Sometimes, most of the time, somebody who supports you is somebody whom you relate to somehow, whether a relative, whether a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a friend. So sometimes you may find out that when you disclose, it gets emotional rather than being professional and understanding of the issues around HIV. As well as you are newly diagnosed, you are still confused yourself. You need to be assisted in terms of your confusion, so that you are heading towards the right direction. So depending on how you know whoever that you're telling, it depends. We can do the disclosure, or you can do the disclosure yourself, and then we support that process.
How can we stop it? How can we stop it? It's a very new infections. And very new infections, that is HIV class along with that says having HIV can whenever passing the one. It was our Harry Shabby on a movie. It was our Limuso. How budget or budget to find car on how negatively to get 50,000 never to a positive. Low, you're not a budget. But that new infections in the shop. Silver budget in the Euro. And here we get into the and now I don't believe for Mana Mahala, because I want the Mana donation will say American donation didn't come with good for another project. Look at the we had conclusion to a fellow season one in India, Hannah Sapala. I will reach your way. So, how man of HIV positive? Already how man of negative. Another category jump care. Has a simple every 2 soft was what one child. How can you have that one of HIV? Every 2 soft one of in that way, we can end it. And to end the ETS, I will never try to run nothing. It's everyone in the country, everyone in the world. Bagay sa usahang mo yun, ay sa usahang ma-immune sa mo yun.